All right, guys. Welcome. Justice is a Process is here, and we are here watching. We're going to be watching, getting caught up on the Hannah Gutierrez PM session. We watched the AM session earlier today. Unfortunately, I was out and about, so I wasn't able to watch the PM session. So I figure I want to be caught up for the morning when we get into day two. So I figure we're jumping here and we'll take a look here and see what happened in court today with that. So if you're up and you're around and you see that I'm live, welcome. If you're catching this on a replay, welcome. So I thought the first thing we would do before we jumped into court, as always, I like to review the statute, so we understand exactly what it is that's going on in this case. So let's jump into this. So this is the New Mexico statute for involuntary manslaughter. So you see, involuntary manslaughter is defined as involuntary manslaughter consists of manslaughter committed in the commission of an unlawful act not amounting to felony, or in the commission of a lawful act which might produce death in an unlawful manner, or without due caution and circumspection. Whoever commits involuntary manslaughter is guilty of a fourth-degree felony. So in this case, I believe they're charging under the theory of an unlawful that she did things that essentially she did a lawful act. Essentially, she wasn't. She was negligent in her handling, or her negligent in how she took care of the firearms, and in allowing live rounds to be potentially mistaken for the fake bullets that would be used on a movie set, and essentially created the potential that the rounds could be loaded in. She also, it sounds like the other element that they're alleging here is that prior to the gun being handed to Alec Baldwin, that she didn't do proper checks. And then it appears the destruction of evidence is that somehow they're saying she was giving something that was alleged to be cocaine to a friend. I mean, I don't know. That seems like that's going to be extremely flimsy, an extremely flimsy case to be made there for that. So, not impressed at all with the alleged attempts to, or with the charge of destruction of evidence. I think that, or attempting to destroy evidence. I think that's a bit odd that they even charge that. But anyways, so with that said, let's jump into the courtroom here and get started watching and pick up here. We're picking up after lunch. Prior to lunch, if you were watching the AM session, there were some technical difficulties. Hold on here. I've got to get my screen back up here for this. Where they had accidentally tapped into the live feed of the trial, and the judge was very upset. In fact, called the court TV lady in with her legal counsel to discuss it. So we pick up from there, and they were playing a video which was not allowed to be shown. This was essentially the initial body camera footage of this officer, who was the first officer on the scene. So let's pick up here and see where we go with this.
One that's going to be called as a witness in this case is not to be viewing this trial live stream on Court TV. Thank you. Shall we continue?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. We think we have this worked out now. We've managed to work a bypass through the system, so we're going to plow forward. Oh, it's off. Better? Thank you. We're going to plow forward. I'm going to start the video from the beginning. We only got about a couple of minutes in, and I know there was a lot of start and stops, so I'm going to start from square one with you all. Officer LaFleur is back, and we're going to pick up with the video.
atomic kit? Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. Stupid new truck. Are we inside with the BBMs?
Every time the jury's in the room, the audio and video fails.
Where's your IT guy?
We sent him to get another Bluetooth speaker so that this one.
That's what the question is.
We are, and we're about to disconnect from the Apple and get on a Windows Surface.
First you shot her on the right side. She came in here and went across her chest. And it came out the back and it went into him. You want air flight? Yeah, we got one in route. Okay.
And if you're wondering why we aren't seeing it, we're only allowed to hear audio on this particular video. So that's why we're only hearing the audio.
Okay, officer, who are you speaking to when you're on your radio?
Whichever dispatcher was on the radio at the time.
Okay, great. And what information generally are you providing to them?
Patient update and any additional services I'm in need of.
Okay, thank you.
And once we get through the audio tape, we will move into listening to this at probably about 2 times speed. See if it's doable. It should be. It looks like the audio is pretty good in this. So.
Santa Fe, both approximately 140 pounds, elderly male and young female. What do you need me here? No, you want a BBM?
All right, officer, I believe I heard you ask here, do you need a BPM?
BVM, it's the back valve mask that I referred to earlier.
Okay, thank you.
This is us. Repeat your information. Fly her out? Yeah, she'll be
Gabby, can you just make sure nobody else comes in?
we have ears, man? You have a stethoscope?
Yes, they're in that bag. Right there at the top. Purple? Nope, just the top.
All right, officer, are these your arms that we can see holding that yellow BVM?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you explain to the jury exactly what you're doing here?
Well, in the beginning, you can see I'm making sure that there's airflow coming through, and then I orientate it to correctly fit over her nose and mouth. And at this point, the bag isn't needed because there's an oxygen supply going through. So I'm just holding it there so she gets accurate oxygen levels.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody allowed to go with her in the helicopter?
No.
Halyna, deep breath, Halyna. There you go. Deep breath, Halyna. Deep breath.
Be okay.
There you go, good girl. Deep breath. Entrance is here. Exit's back here.
You guys back here?
No.
What do you guys need?
I just need another dog tag.
Dog tag?
Something for, pressure. I'll take a big one.
This one? This one?
No,
This one?
Underneath the right shoulder blade, keep the console area coming through.
What's that item you just unwrapped?
Look like a surgical gauze pad.
Okay.
Got a stretcher?
not me here, no.
Okay. Let me help you get the stretcher. Stretcher. Pay attention. So, here's priority number one.
Let's clear and get all this stuff out of there. We can get right in here.
Alright, we got air flight en route.
Not on me here, we can do it all there. Halyna?
This is Halyna Hutchins. What side? Gunshot wounds here. So this side. Okay. I got the air. Thank you. I'm gonna slide that thing right there. Get all that out. Alright, so we're gonna need to get her going right away. We got it through and through on her. We went through and through.
Who is the gentleman that just walked into the frame?
That would be Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay, and was he your supervisor?
He was a supervisor that day, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
To the chest, and then you got one in the arm over there.
And I believe I heard you say that she got a through and through to her, and you got one in the arm over there. What did you mean?
That the female had been shot and had gone through her, and the male who was laying there had been hit in the arm, shoulder area.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene. Okay, everybody stops.
Okay, roll it back. Roll it to the other side. Pull it through. Roll back. Who has to take it? One, two, three. Alright, underneath, pull. Yeah, good. Let's go up and down. Alright, here, okay? So you keep your eyes on it. Alright, we got some permits in the back for her.
See the blood?
You know where the hurt is right now. Go one side, just like cover. Alright, we got some stairs, guys. Go stand on the first step. Disconnect there. You got it? Hey, can you take over that? Santa Fe, what's the ETA on the bird?
believe I heard you ask here, what's the ETA on the bird? This may be an obvious question, but would you explain to the jury what you're referring to when you're asking about the bird?
About how long the helicopter air flight was going to take to get there.
Okay, thank you.
We got the bird right here. Approximately 23-year-old female in the back of the ambulance right now. Gunshot underneath the right arm. Went through all the way to the back left. Can you carry this back, please, sir? You got it? This one's priority. You guys, you step over there for us, okay? Can I have you guys get over there for us? We're going to have to gather everybody up, get everybody's names, everybody who's on scene, okay?
Can you explain to us a little bit about what you're doing here?
Trying to stay busy, trying to organize and think ahead of what we're going to need. Telling people that are just, obviously that we're there to corral in one area, to wait for the next steps.
Okay, thank you.
be taking this one.
Going in the bird then? Did she go in the bird?
No, not yet. They did an IVs, did an IO, and then they're gonna take in the bird.
They're coming out, watch yourselves.
They're moving in from this one.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago.
And whose jack is that? Joel's. Okay.
He's got his phone, it's bloody.
Okay.
He's got his phone, he's got his other stuff in it.
Okay, well, we're gonna just keep it here. So he
Is
was.
his phone?
Yeah, he was wearing it. Well, where's his phone at?
I don't know.
There's no phone.
Anybody have to?
All right, gentlemen. Yeah, how can we help you? I just need your IDs, and then have you guys step outside and wait for the investigators to get here. Okay? Okay, cool.
All right. Why are you asking these folks for their IDs?
Because it was apparent they were in there when I got there, and they were still in there when I went back in. They could have been possible witnesses and people I need to, or not myself, but people who need to be talked to.
Okay, thank you.
Outside and wait for the investigators to get here. Okay? Okay, cool. And who's the props guy? Who's in charge of props?
She has green and purple hair, you can't miss her.
Okay.
All right. You hear them mention the props guy being a female with green and purple hair?
Yes.
Okay, were you able to identify who that was?
Not me personally, no.
Okay.
Not at the time.
Okay, thank you.
I was here when it happened.
You were here when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Who else was here when it happened?
The camera operator.
It's in his front pocket.
How many people do you think were in here when it happened?
3, maybe 4.
4? Okay. So 2 more other than you two?
Reed, as soon as I see him, he was the
Reed?
camera operator. Reed, yes, sir.
Okay, who
Reed
else?
Russell was here. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was the actor on set that pulled the trigger.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes, sir.
Where's he at? Yeah, can you help me find him?
Yes, sir.
Right here on the cell phone with the problem. Okay. How's it going, sir? So my understanding, you were in the room when the lady, when someone was shot?
Holding the gun, yeah.
Okay, alrighty.
What do you need?
Well, I know your name, so it's
Just call you back, okay?
let me give a,
All right, you indicated you already knew what his name was. Can you identify this man for us?
Alec Baldwin.
Thank you.
everybody wants you to hang out, okay?
Whatever you want to do.
Yes, sir. Alright, give me just a sec.
All right. Thankfully, that's where the video ends. At least the portion we're going to watch today. So after you spoke to Mr. Baldwin, what did you do next?
I believe one of the people I named in my report, I can't remember which, who was able to give me names and people who were in the room during the incident, and I did my best to find those individuals and kind of corral them all into one area with the resources we had.
Okay. Talk about that a little bit. What resources did you have on hand at this point in time?
At this point in time, there was only 3 deputies, to include myself, lieutenant, and a corporal.
Okay. And approximately how many people were you needing to corral?
At that time, it was unknown, but there was the numbers were not in our favor. So, a couple hundred people were there, total on the whole scene.
Okay. And do you have an approximation of how many you ended up kind of corralling off?
I think maybe 10 without looking at the report. But
okay. Once you had the folks corralled, what were your next steps?
As more resources got there, we just trying to figure out where they're going to take all these people, how we're going to get them there, where they're going to start conducting interviews because we're out in the middle of nowhere, essentially.
Okay. And was that pretty much conclude your involvement that day? Once you had everybody corralled?
Yeah, just the rest of my involvement was keeping people corralled and then staying with people as they were changed out to be interviewed, and ultimately was in one of the trailers.
Okay. Okay. We'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-exam.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay.
thank you though.
Of course. There you go.
Good afternoon, sir. How long have you been working as a law enforcement officer when this happened?
Going on 4 years.
4 years. Had you ever been to a homicide scene before?
Nothing as complex as that one, no.
Okay. And you've received some additional law enforcement training since this incident after you went to work at the Santa Fe Police Department, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that a primary goal for you as the first responding investigator would be to identify and preserve evidence?
I would have to disagree.
Okay. Explain your disagreement, please.
My primary role is life before evidence, to preserve life and then investigate and preserve evidence.
Okay. And we saw you helping with that. Thank you for your efforts there. After that was done, what steps, if any, did you take to identify and preserve evidence?
What limited capabilities I had at the time, judging that it was only 3 of us on scene. Tried to gather information as to who was in there, and keep them all in one area.
Okay. And you would agree with me that in the initial stages of a criminal investigation, it's important to identify and preserve evidence?
Yes.
Okay. And we heard on your lapel video, as life-saving efforts for Miss Hutchins were being made, that your lieutenant very loudly declared that this is a crime scene.
Yes.
You heard that, right? So at that time,
You need to say yes or no, not.
Yes.
okay. So at that time, you guys should be thinking also about identifying and preserving evidence, right?
To a point, yes.
Okay. Now, would you also agree with me that it is important to identify witnesses to a crime or potential crimes and take steps to preserve the value of their testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the ways that you do that is by avoiding what's called witness taint. Would you agree with that?
If you're referring to separating the witnesses, yes.
Okay. And that's one way that you make sure that witnesses' memory and perception of event doesn't become influenced by someone else's, right? You can
Yes.
make sure that they're not able to talk to anyone else.
Yes.
Okay. And as part of your training and investigations, you're aware that taint can sometimes be accidental or incidental. People are sharing their recollections about an event. Have you been taught that?
Yes.
Have you also been taught that sometimes witness taint can be purposeful? For instance, if people were to talk and say, okay, we're going to get details X, Y, and Z correct. And I'm not talking about this case in particular, just in general, your training. Have you been taught that?
It's a possibility.
Okay. You've been instructed that it's a possibility.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it's important to separate witnesses so that can't happen.
Yes.
Okay. So, in your testimony, you indicated that you were corralling the witnesses. What exactly does that mean?
With limited space and area where it happened, I was trying to keep everybody in one area. It was a one building surrounded by bunch of movie set equipment. We're very limited on back seats. There's only 3 units there. So,
Okay. You didn't corral them in the church, did you?
no.
Okay. It looked like there's a lot of open space there. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
All right. Could you have told the people just to go stand, somewhere under some shade apart from one another?
I did have them stand in the shade, which
Alright.
was where they were at.
I guess what I'm getting at is, why didn't you have them separate? Why do you have them stay together?
Again, there's only 3 officers on scene at that time. Trying to keep them all in my sight, and in close proximity.
Okay. Did you tell them not to speak to one another?
I
about
did
what
ask them several times to stop talking. And
Okay. Did you hear that on the video that we just watched?
no, that video is redacted. It doesn't show the whole length of the body camera.
Okay. Did you identify who all was in the church?
To my recollection from the report, I did,
Okay.
based off of the script writer who's in charge of who's in the room, like camera-wise and actor-wise.
All right. What individuals were inside the church when the shooting happened?
My memory's not that great to name everybody individually.
Judge, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Officer, you read a report in this case, right?
Yes,
Would looking at your report refresh your recollection as to who was in the church?
yes.
All right. I provided you a copy of your report. Let me know if that refreshes your recollection.
Yeah, I'm reading 12 different names,
All
but
right. All right. Who all was in the church?
I'm going to butcher these names, but Sergio Cinto, labeled as a chief lighting technician. Duran Curtin as a costume. Ross, I don't want to say the last name, but I guess his title would be Dolly Grip. Mamie Mitchell, which script supervisor. Matthew Himmer, assistant chief lighting technician. Joseph Zillow, key rigging. David Halls, first assistant director. Reese Price, key grip. Thomas Gaddy, special effects coordinator. Roman Gaddy, special effects key. Lucas Husak, special effects technician. And Alec Baldwin, actor.
Thanks. Judge, can I retrieve mine?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. If you need to look at the report again, let me know. All right. I heard on the Powell video, initially you were told 3 or 4 people were in the church.
Yes.
All right. After hearing that, what did you do?
Tried to figure out who exactly was in the church by asking several different people and eventually ending up with that list.
Okay. And you ultimately crowd all those individuals together?
Yes.
Okay. And is it your testimony that there was no other way to have them situated, that they had to be together?
No other way, but that was the way they were placed.
Okay. And would you agree with me that ideally that should not have happened in this case?
I mean, if you're Monday morning quarterbacking it, ideally we'd be able to place handcuffs on everybody and separate them individually in each car. But with the limited resources and
All right. Do you recall giving a pretrial interview in this case?
yes,
Okay. Now, in your interview, you mentioned the benefit of hindsight. You kind of approached that topic, talking about Monday morning quarterbacking. Looking at the case now, with benefit of hindsight and your additional training, is there anything else you would do? Is there anything you would do differently?
There's quite a few things I would have done differently.
What things would you have done differently?
Separated everybody further apart. Attempted to get everybody's disposable cuffs, collect phones, stuff like that.
Okay. And you actually told my investigator you do the scene completely differently.
Yes.
All right. And is one of the reasons you would do that differently is that you're now aware of the valuable evidence that can be found on cell phones?
One of the reasons would be the more training that I've received and experience.
Okay. When you approached Mr. Baldwin, was he on his phone?
Yes.
All right. After you spoke with him, did you tell him to stay off of his phone?
I believe so.
Okay.
Not in that video, no. But
Did you take his phone from him?
no, I did not.
Why didn't you take his phone?
During that portion of my career, I wasn't, I guess, knowledgeable on the fact of what cell phones provided and the availability to detain and secure people's cell phone devices.
Okay. Aside from the witnesses speaking to one another, was there anything else that was happening on this movie set that could have affected what they told investigators later about what they saw?
I'm not too sure. Could you rephrase that?
Yeah, as we sit here today and having looked at your video and hopefully having done some prep for this trial, is there any other thing that you can think of, aside from the witnesses being corralled together, that could affect the statements that they gave to investigators?
Other than being placed apart and separate, I don't think.
Okay. Do you recall an attorney who was present at this movie set?
I do remember somebody claiming to be an attorney for the movie set. I don't remember her name.
And she specifically identified herself as an attorney for the production company?
Yes.
All right. And what was she telling people?
I can't remember at the time.
Judge, it goes to, do you want to argue your approach?
It doesn't matter, whichever you all are more comfortable with.
Judge goes to the effect on the listener and what he did, and that it's highly relevant, but it's not offered literally for the truth of the matter asserted.
Well, you have to see what it is. Approach.
And
I didn't really hear all the conversations he was having.
okay.
Um,
What was the attorney on the movie set doing?
speaking to people who were potentially involved or asking them what they've seen, I believe. I didn't really hear all the conversations he was having.
Okay. Have you ever been to a crime scene where an attorney shows up and starts talking to witnesses before the police do?
No.
Okay. And would you agree with me that talking to a legal representative of some entity, in this case, movie production, could that have affected the statements that the witnesses gave later to police?
There's a possibility of it, yes.
Okay. Why did you not take steps to stop that from happening?
Because I wasn't the one investigating them individually, right, reading them the Miranda rights at the time.
Were you aware that this was a problem at the time as you observed it?
Not at the time, no.
It's something you become aware of by virtue of your training now?
Yes.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you, officer. Do you need a warrant to search a phone?
Yes, and this, well, yes.
Okay. And did you have a warrant on this day?
Judge, objection. I talked about seizing phone, not searching it. Those are very different concepts. I can rephrase.
Okay.
Did you have a warrant to seize the phone?
No, I did not have a warrant to seize the phone.
Okay. And was it your job to get a warrant?
Not at that time, no.
Okay. Have you ever been to a crime scene with 200 witnesses before?
No.
Okay. And have you ever been to a crime scene on a movie set before?
No.
All right. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. This witness is excused. Next witness. Thank you, sir.
The next witness the state calls is Tim Benavides. He should be on his way in.
Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you. Have a seat, talk into the microphone.
Just 1 second. Give us just 1 second. When we switch computers. Get that. Here's that.
Sheriff's Office, Day Shift Commander.
Give us an idea of your background and experience in terms of your law enforcement experience.
I did 20 years with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office, going through the ranks from deputy to lieutenant.
How many years?
20 years.
And did you have any law enforcement experience before going to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
I did not.
Okay. And how did you become involved in the incident on October 21st, 2021 at Bonanza Creek Ranch?
I was a day shift commander. We had gotten dispatched to the Bonanza Creek Ranch.
What did you think you were being dispatched to?
Dispatch advised that there was an accidental shooting with a prop gun.
And what did you do when you received that information?
Due to the nature of the call, I activated my lights and sirens, and I proceeded to the movie ranch.
And tell us what you saw when you arrived. What was going on? Describe the scene to us.
Coming upon the movie ranch, there is security. The movie ranch is quite large. One of the security guards at the time told us that to follow him in because it was quite large, the movie set. As soon as we got to the movie set itself, it was chaos. There was people everywhere. Deputy LaFleur was already on scene. I didn't know where he was, and I was being directed to the makeshift church.
And sir, did you also have a body-worn camera?
Yes, I did.
And did you run your body-worn camera?
From the time I activated my lights to head to the movie ranch, it was activated.
So, is there a fair portion of your body-worn camera that is you driving your car?
Yes, there is. I was on the other side of the county, of Santa Fe County, when the call came in, so it took me, I believe, 16 minutes to get to the call.
And after you arrived on scene, did you make contact with anyone?
With the security guard, and then myself and the corporal at the time, Corporal Alderete, we made contact at the church.
And was Corporal Alderete there before you?
I believe me and him went in at the same time.
So prior to you and Corporal Alderete arriving, was it just Deputy LaFleur?
Yes, it was.
So, was there a way to effectively separate the witnesses at that point in time?
There was not. With 3 deputies on scene, we were trying to, at the time, find out how the victims were in the church, and fire personnel was telling us for help to land a helicopter. So there was no way at the time. We were trying to corral everybody and keep everybody corralled as much as possible to as witnesses.
Was one of the primary focuses helping the injured people?
That was our main focus. As soon as we found out that we had enough fire personnel working on the victims, our next thing is to find out where the gun's at.
And is that what you tried to do?
Yes.
Sir, have you had an opportunity to review the footage from your body-worn camera recently?
Yes, I have.
And I would like to move for the admission of State's Exhibit 2 and permission to publish.
States to admitted, you may publish.
And we are going to start this video at 16 minutes and 5 seconds so that we don't spend 16 minutes watching him drive to the scene.
We're going to secure the film and all the crew members. Okay. Cool. I have like 200 people out here, so.
Alrighty, let's see if.
Yes, I already called for them. Corporal, I need you to know who's in charge. Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene. Okay, everybody stops what they're doing, and I need the film secured by whoever's in charge of
Mr. Benavides, we heard you give some instructions to that lady. Do you remember who that lady was?
I do not remember who she was.
Did you get an impression of whether she was someone in charge or not in charge?
I did. She was talking to Corporal Alderete. I figured that she had to be somebody important, a director or something.
And why were you telling her to do all these things?
I think I was telling the corporal,
Oh,
whoever was in charge, and I think she rose her hand, and then I directed to her.
and what are you talking about in terms of securing the video? Why would that be important?
Well, I saw video behind them, and they said they were filming.
As you sit here today, are you aware of whether or not there was actually a video recording of the shooting?
I don't know if there actually was. I never found out.
And you were not the primary detective on the case, is that right?
That is correct. I was not.
At this point in time, other than providing aid to the people who've been shot, what's the most important piece of evidence that you're concerned about?
In my head at that time, I was thinking about where the gun was.
Hey, I need pictures right away.
Why are you asking for pictures?
Trying to preserve the scene as much as possible. I know I'm wearing my body camera, but I'm trying to preserve everything I can.
On this particular scene, was that easy?
It was not.
Where's the props guy? Where's the props guy at? Yes, they're taking care of business. What else do you need there, Chief?
What's my radio? It's just here. Thank you.
Cleared the gun.
Where is it?
Why are you asking for the props guy?
I think it was more of a guess to find out where the gun was.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the gun.
And did you hear that person screaming in the background?
Yes, I did.
Do you know who that person was?
Joel,
And why was Joel screaming?
because he was shot from what I saw.
And the gentleman who is standing right in front of you on the video screen there, do you recall your interaction with him?
I don't, other than the video. He just offered his services trying to find the props guy.
Okay, he's a guy there that tried to help you.
Yes.
Okay.
Got the cleared gun.
Where is it? It's not here. There's one there and there's one there. That's none of them? That's not. Okay.
What happened there?
I believe he's a director, and he took me to a cart, to a gray cart, and there was 2 guns on the cart, and he told me that those weren't the 2 guns used in the church at that time.
So not the gun you're looking for.
Exactly.
You're in charge, ma'am? I need to know where the gun's at right now.
Armor, I need to know where the guns are at.
How do I know this is a gun?
That's the gun.
Okay.
discussion you're having? What are you asking about?
I'm asking about the gun, if that was the right gun used. She told me yes. And then she's talking about the ammunition.
Okay. Was the ammunition readily available right there?
It was not.
Do you have those rounds I gave you?
What? They're on the card.
Are they?
I don't know.
Who would you give them to?
I gave them back to you.
I gave.
I'll get them.
Mr. Benavides, why did you let that gentleman with the hat on go collect the rounds or the cart or whatever it was he said?
I had 3 deputies on scene. I was taking care of the gun at the time and the props person. I had 2 other deputies trying to control their part of the scene. I was keeping my eye as much as I can on the person going for the ammunition.
Did he bring something back to you?
He brought me the gray cart that we had gone and we were looking for the gun that was used. That was the gray cart that he brought back.
And you saw that cart previously because the other gentleman walked you up to it, right?
That is correct.
So when this gentleman brings you the cart, does it appear to have been...
Objection, leading.
Sorry.
Sustained.
Did it seem different when the gentleman brought it back to you?
Leading.
Sustained.
How did the cart look when it was brought to you?
The cart looked the same to me. It was in disorder. There was still 2 guns on top of it.
No, there are extra ones in there. Yeah, that's not it. The one.
But what did we just see you do there?
I cleared the gun and I secured it in the front of my unit.
And what does it mean to clear a gun?
I was making it safe for myself and for the crime scene tech or a detective that would look at it after I secured it.
Did it have any ammunition in it?
It did not.
First entrance going to be the second one on Banana Creek. Okay, boarding.
What did you do with that gun?
I secured it in the front of my unit and I locked the door.
Oh my God, fuck. I'm so. Are they okay?
Hey, Santa Fe, we need more units out here.
Huh?
I've never been inside. I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay, I already benefit
That was not a good thing to say. That statement she just made. It shows that she knew she did something irresponsible.
That is the cart that I originally
Wow.
was taken to by the other gentleman. Same cart.
So, okay,
We have rounds here.
okay, now, so, this is the one I'm pretty sure, that's the one, and okay, sorry.
You're okay.
Sorry.
Just relax. Just relax.
So scared.
You're all right. Just relax.
So here's the box that I got them out of.
Okay. Leave them right there. Leave them right there, okay? Relax. I just need you.
We saw you take something. What did you take?
There were 2 white boxes of rounds that the prop person, Hannah, said that these were the rounds used.
And this person that you took those rounds from, the person that's right here in the center of the video screen, is that Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes, it is.
Do you see Ms. Gutierrez sitting in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you just go ahead and point her out and tell us what she's wearing for the record?
She's wearing a gray jacket and a white top.
And also, just for the record, where is Bonanza Creek Ranch located?
Bonanza Creek Ranch is on the southern end of Santa Fe County. It's off the frontage road, I-25 frontage road.
For the record, state of New Mexico.
In the state of New Mexico.
Thank you, sir.
Just relax, okay? I just need you to relax. Just please relax, okay? Take your breaths and relax. Can somebody get water for her?
That's a totally different look in court, I'll tell you. Wow. She looks like she's a mess there.
Helicopter's here for her. Yeah, now the helicopter's here for her.
Is she fucking, where the fuck are these entry wounds? Is she okay? Can somebody tell me anything?
I don't know anything. I just, right now, I don't know. I'm just trying to secure everything.
Mr. Benavides, do you know why the helicopter is still there?
The helicopter, in my experience, lands and they try to stabilize the victim before they fly him out. The victim has to be stable before they fly him out.
Can that sometimes take time?
Yes, from my experience, yes, it takes a little bit of time.
Need to know before I start getting information. She's the armor. Who are you?
I'm the production designer.
Okay, thank you. And you?
I'm the production manager.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I won't remember your names. I'm sorry. So,
You're fine. You're fine.
can somebody get him water?
Yeah, I need it.
Oh my god.
Do you remember where those boxes of ammunition are right now?
Yes, they're on the left side of the cart on a piece of paper.
And are you keeping an eye on them?
I am.
And you saw what they... Did you see them when she handed them to you?
I saw them. I know what they physically look like, yes.
Thank you.
My name is Shannon.
Hi.
My husband and I own a ranch.
Okay, my name's Tim.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so, yes, I mean, I'm not worried about the insurance, I'm worried about her life, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
so-
what I'm saying.
So,
No movie's worth it.
no,
No. What can I do to help you?
we are bringing a whole lot of units here because there's a whole lot of people here.
Yes, we're trying
Okay.
to clear them out.
No, nobody's getting cleared out, everybody is staying where they're at,
Okay.
okay? We're trying, that's what, so difficult, we're trying to hold everybody where they're at.
Okay.
Okay, what I'm gonna have you do is sit in here, okay? You're not arrested. The door's gonna stay open. Since you're the armor, they're gonna wanna talk to you more than anybody, okay?
Mr. Benavides, why did you ask Ms. Gutierrez to get into your truck?
With the scene being so active, and her being the armor, I couldn't have her walk off and lose her. So I put her in my unit. As you heard, she was not under arrest. They just needed to talk to her.
Can you describe the inside of your unit?
Yes, it's caged from the middle of my unit. My windows are caged up also, and you cannot get into the front of my unit at all.
Not even if you're sitting in the back?
Not even if you're sitting in the back. You do not have access to the front of my vehicle.
Can I please have that water?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Just relax. Okay? I'm just trying to, there's a whole lot of people here, so I'm trying to secure everybody.
You want me to stay with you?
You can stay right here with
We'll
her.
stay right here with you. I will not go anywhere.
You can leave the door open, you don't have to do anything, okay? Hey! To the med!
Do you remember what you're saying there?
I believe I was telling Corporal Derete to put the yellow tape to the med truck, I think. Or I
and
was
why?
asking for a med unit to come and check on Hannah.
Understood. And why would you ask for a medical unit to come check on Hannah?
The way she was pretty much hyperventilating, and I didn't want her to pass out, and then we have a bigger problem.
Okay.
Santa Fe. If I could have a unit head to St. B's, we got one shot in the shoulder. That one's going to St. B's. The helo just landed, and they are trying to get that other 41 stable. So if I could have somebody go to St. B's and with this other subject.
What is St. V's for people who don't know that short name?
That's St. Vincent's Hospital here in Santa Fe.
And why are you sending a unit to St. V's?
For one, for logistics, to help the detectives find out how the victims are doing.
Let me also ask you this. Is there potentially evidence to be collected?
Yes, there is. Clothing, stuff like that. Yes.
Anything else you can think of?
Maybe the projectile still in them. I don't know.
Okay.
Transferring on Southern Service, St. B's, having a unit with a mess.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna radio the truck down?
No, not at all. I'm sorry. I didn't even step to it.
Well, I got people there with Alec Baldwin, the actor. He's the one who pulled the trigger from the actor. Sit tight or?
Yeah, he's gonna have to sit tight.
I have the armor in here. All their stuff. I have the gun used is in there. And I got the two people that were in the room.
Okay.
You have Alec Baldwin think he's back when he is or?
No, we know where he's at. We know who he is.
Yeah.
We just need to stay. Is he in a trailer?
Gray black.
Okay. All right. So try to keep him away from everybody. Not to talk to anybody.
I can step with my unit.
That's fine.
Mr. Benavides, tell us what that conversation was about.
So Deputy LaFleur and I were conversating on what we have. He was telling me who the shooter was, and who he had over there. He had more witnesses. And what we were talking about, because there's 4 of us now, there was another deputy that just showed up on scene. We were trying to keep everybody separated, so they wouldn't talk about the case.
And is there a specific person that you're talking about keeping separated?
Alec Baldwin.
Thank you.
Production car. If you get all the director, get a production car. Is it? Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
No. I'm here for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Let me know how.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I have the weapon, I have the ammo, and I have the armor. Pretty much they don't touch it until the armor gives it to them. And the director was going over the shot, going over what was going to happen in the set, and she got shot in the chest. And then that's what it sounds. I don't know. We do have pictures, but there, like I said, there's like 200 people here. There was four people in the room. There was 4 people in the room, and 2 of them were shot. Okay, 2 shots. One 141 in the chest. The other male shot in the shoulder. We do not right now. We do not. Everything is so fluid.
Mr. Benavides, do you remember who you're talking to?
I believe I was talking to Lieutenant Michael Martinez. He was the lieutenant of the Criminal Investigation Division, the detectives, and I was briefing them over the phone what was happening.
Why would you do that?
Because this goes straight to him and his detectives, so I was trying to brief him of what equipment he might need, how many personnel he might need.
Did you say the situation is very fluid?
Yes.
What did you mean?
It is an active scene. There's still people walking around, still people trying to get into the church. They're just people everywhere.
But it is I'm letting you know it is active file with Alec Baldwin. I think this will let you know that. All right. What? Do you want to talk to me, sir?
Sir, Alec is he's gonna smoke a cigarette and he'll sit in his own car. That's his vehicle.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm good, thank you. I just drank a Red Bull right before and I'm all hyped up. Sorry.
We're standing by at the entrance of Vanessa Creek, the single road at the end of the criminal.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand by, so if you need to...
Yes, please. You doing okay?
No!
Read 65, start rolling towards the east direction until we hear from him.
Lieutenant! Oh, I thought you were the lieutenant. I need somebody to check that 41, the armor. She's having a panic attack. I need somebody to check for her.
Okay.
Okay.
The armor?
Yeah, she's the armor. She's hyperventilating. She's having a...
You gotta go get that guy. He was here. So can I come back in?
What's that?
I gotta go get that guy over there and bring him back here. So
Where is he?
He's right there next to the guy with the cowboy hat. He's wearing the black.
The one on the right. I'll go get him.
Okay.
Okay, yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for helping. You guys security?
You need security, is that what you're saying?
Yes, just
All they have is one security guard.
That's it. Okay. All right.
The gentleman is G.
Hey, Doc, in my unit, it's the girl in the middle. You, sir, you were in the... Yes. Okay. I need you just to head that way for me, please. Thank you.
Where are you telling that guy to go?
So I was told that he was in the church, so I was directing him towards either Corporal Alderete or Deputy LaFleur.
And for what purpose?
He was possibly a witness.
The house enters.
We were told by the priest.
Okay, hold on. All right, let me see who you guys are. I don't want too many people here. Okay, hold on. What's up?
I don't have any additional security guards. I got one. I got to keep the gate. Okay. I've got my 2 guys right here. You can post them wherever you want.
Okay, thank you. I'll figure that out. Let me go see what's going on with these guys, and I'll be right back.
These guys are standing by.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. You okay? Yes, ma'am. Okay, where's that lady that was in charge?
You run over there. Guys, I need you guys. This is Reed, one of our camera operators.
Okay, come here, sir. How's it going? My name's Lieutenant Benavides.
Can I go to the hospital?
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. So, Corporal, we got a camera operator who is in the room. Okay? Okay, it's just hard. We can't let all people in and out, so if you could, I'm going to try to get over here. Yeah.
6365 and you are out with the...
Okay, I'm trying to find the director, whoever directed us on who is in the room. I'm trying to find her so she could help me out and make sure we have everybody. Okay?
I can do that.
Okay.
I'm the UPM. This is, if it's not her set, it's mine.
Okay.
So I can help you. Tell me how I can.
Okay, who is this?
This is our lawyer.
Okay. Lieutenant Benavides, I didn't mean to be rude to you, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to secure everybody. And who is that? Benavides.
No, you're fine. That's
So
okay.
I have a whole lot of people coming this way, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do you one of our co-producers.
Okay.
These 2 gentlemen right here are Lucas and Marcos. They're my locations peeps.
Yes.
A little farther down in the white is Shannon. She's the owner of the ranch. The
Okay.
gentleman who I was talking to earlier in the brown hat is Brian, the production designer.
Yes, I met him.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be with you in a little bit, ma'am. Okay? Let me talk to my guys to secure this area. Corporal, I need somebody on that side to secure, so we're not going in and out. Everybody pretty much that's in is staying in.
Who are these officers? What's happening here?
More deputies coming, like I was asking for. So this makes 6 deputies on scene right now. I'm just trying to direct them to try to secure as much of the scene as I can.
The crime scene lobby, because it's still fluid. We still have that still on deck. Okay, I don't know. Patient's still here though? One patient's still here. Do we have somebody going to the hospital?
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Okay.
41 delivery center.
If you could stand on that side and make sure people aren't coming in and out. Everybody that's in stays in.
Did I hear you say that one of the injured people was still there?
Yes, that's correct.
And do you know why?
They were trying to get the female stable so they could fly her out.
Still?
Still.
Here also, I have the corporal on that side with Sanchez. He's still trying to get the information. It looks like we have all the people that were in the room.
I was in the room.
Okay, come here. If you could go see that gentleman. Sanchez! I need you to stay by my unit. I have the weapon in my truck,
Okay.
and all the ammunition on that tray.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's an actual guy?
It was Alec Baldwin. He's sitting over there. He shot, and then he shot. He got the gun from the armor who I have in my car.
She's not under arrest. She just the armor. So she's here so he could help with that. And this will be your entry point right here. Okay.
Way over.
Yep.
What's an entry point?
It's a check-in point for whoever comes into the scene right now. From now on, as detectives, crime scene techs, medical personnel, whoever else is coming on board.
So is there a break in the crime scene tape right there?
I believe Deputy, I don't remember if Deputy Puentes put a break or he's just lifting up the tape. I don't remember which.
Where is the tape at this point in time?
It is, the yellow tape is connected to my vehicle and it's pretty much connected to all the sheriff's personnel vehicles that are on scene.
And is it, what is it cordoning off?
It's cordoning off the makeshift church.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I still have those charges pending. I told them to. So that's where.
No,
It's in here.
it's in my unit. With all these, okay. This is what she said. This is the one that's empty. This is the one that she said.
Caliber size?
It's a 45. I have the dummy rounds right here. It's a 45.
Okay.
Okay, and we will.
Let me back that up. Why are you giving this information to this gentleman? Tell us what's happening.
So the med unit is asking what kind of weapon was used, and I'm letting them know what Hannah told me. Is it was a 45. She pointed to the two white ammo boxes, and I was reading out the ammo boxes, 45 dummy rounds.
Bear with me, I'm trying to, there we go. What do those boxes look like?
Two white ammo boxes. They were white and it had a label on the flap end.
Did you recognize them?
Recognize as it how?
Had you seen them previously?
Oh yes, they're the ones that Hannah told me that these were the rounds used for that day.
Did they look different?
They did not.
Did the prop card look different?
They did not.
She said this was the one that's empty. This is what she said. Caliber size?
It's a 45. I have the dummy rounds right here. It's a 45. Okay. Okay, and we will. Let's go this way. I have a lawyer here already. Oh.
Is one of those ladies the lawyer?
I believe the one on the left, the white shirted lady, is the lawyer.
And where are the witnesses who were in the church at the time of the shooting?
They are in the front of the church with Corporal Derete or with Deputy LaFleur.
How far away from those people is she?
The lawyer?
Yeah.
Shouty distance, I guess.
If she were to shout, would you have heard her?
Yes.
First, for the med papers, social.
Would anybody have that?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Halyna Hutchins, H-Y-L-E-N-A.
You got it, Doc? So I have, like, Alec Baldwin is the one that won't figure, yeah, but I have the armor in my unit, I have the gun whipped like this, and then the tray has the dummy rounds. Okay, I have Frederick on that side. Quintus is taking care of, he's gonna start to clear the lot.
I got this down until I get the patients behind there.
Okay. And then make sure everybody goes to Sanchez. All the personnel that were in there, make sure he has everybody. Okay? Yeah, I have more people coming.
Did we hear you say you have more people coming?
I was hoping I had more people coming, but I kept asking for more people.
Let me ask you, How big is the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
When I left, we had 100 officers.
And if you can estimate for us, on a day like October 21st, 2021, how many officers would have been available to respond to this call out?
3 deputies. That's all I had. We are stationed all over the county. So I was a rover. I believe the corporal was north of Santa Fe County. And then I had a deputy that was assigned to Santa Fe. But in this case, Deputy LaFleur was coming in for overtime, and he happened to hear the call and he helped out.
Thank you.
She okay? She okay? I know, that's why I called the med first. I want her to check, make sure she's not, I think they're definitely trouble right now. Okay. We just need well, she's okay. She's feeling with all this. Yeah, she can get it. Okay. Yes, so she called me with the gun for her.
What do you have in your hand right now?
I have the 2 ammo boxes in my hand from the cart that Hannah pointed out that were used. We keep everything else the same. I'm gonna keep these, like these here. Those are gonna be okay. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody will.
What did that guy just do?
He reached over the yellow tape and he grabbed a bullet and he shook it to show that it was a dummy round. And then he put it back.
And where did he grab it from? One of the boxes?
No, he did not. There was like a little cubby on the tray. He just reached over, grabbed it, and put it back.
And you saw that?
Yes. Yes, that's the reason here.
Tell us what you just did there.
With the 2 white ammo boxes that Hannah pointed out that were used that day, I secured them in the front of my unit on the driver's side seat.
And was the unit locked?
As soon as I closed the door, I hit my manual switch and I heard it and it clicked closed.
Did you see anything that would cause you to believe that anyone planted evidence?
I did not, no.
Did you see anything that would cause you to believe that anyone tampered with anything on that cart?
No.
Any reason to believe anyone got into your unit and did anything with the evidence you had in there?
No. I got 2 extra people which help me out, helping secure this area.
All right, we're going to take our afternoon break. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Thank you.
All rise.
Yes, we are on the break.
Mr. Mendes, let's go ahead and just watch the last few minutes of this video for completeness, okay?
So right now I do have the dummy rounds, the armor, and the gun secured. Okay? Yes, I grabbed her right away. She was, and we did secure the film. We do have the film secured. They'll have to go with that's going to be later down the line or whatever. But everything was getting filmed. Okay? The helo's still on the ground. Right now, I don't know. They're still working there. They're still working. Did we get a crime scene up for purpose? Did we get a crime scene up for purpose?
Did you see the helicopter there?
Yes, I did.
Any idea why that helicopter is still there?
Like I said before, they're still trying to stabilize her so they could fly her out.
Thank you, sir.
Can you ladies doing okay?
Just on your green light. It's activate getting wherever it is that you go to the interview.
Okay, that's not going to be on us. The detectives are coming.
Okay, so it's not done yet.
What's that?
The interview's not done yet.
No, nothing. We just secured the armor, we secured the gun, and the ammunition.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only thing we've done.
That's all you have to do.
Yes, and then we are getting all the information, all the people that are in the room. Okay, I'm going to go check on the victim. And she's still here. They're trying to stabilize her. I will let you know how she's doing. I know you guys are concerned, so I'm going to let you guys know, okay? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Hey, Doc, is there any way I can put the air conditioner on for you guys? Okay. Casey, how do you get it, correct?
What information did you get right there?
The female, Halyna Hutchins, was stable, but in critical condition. They're stabilizing her so they can fly her out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, right through the chest. What's up, Chief? Sir, I'm speaking to them. They're trying to stabilize her. We have the medic in there from the med, and they're trying to stabilize her. Just like I just asked, they said they're trying to stabilize her. She's critical. Yeah, you know that. No, just sometimes. Sorry about your blues. I know you read that. Yes, everybody. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Sanchez. Where is Where's everybody? Where are they? She's here. Nick, we're not able to go back. Yes, Russ, okay. I need everybody right here separated. That's what I told you. Get everybody here separated. Okay. Nobody leaves. All right. I'm going to the hospital. That was his best friend. Yeah. No, he was here. Nobody, get everybody here. Nobody else leaves. Such as. Yes, everybody. Yes. Yeah, that's what I was talking. We're units, but we have people everywhere.
Was that discussion regarding a witness who left?
Yes, it was.
Do you know if that was a person who was inside the church or just a person who was working on set?
I don't remember, but like I said, the scene was active and we're trying to keep people together, but this one person did get out.
Thank you.
Need it open? It's open? Yeah, and you get a quick door. Okay, so she's stable, but critical. We're trying to stabilize her so she can get on that helo. Okay, so that she is alive, but critical condition, and we're trying to stabilize her so they can be comfortable when they get on the helo. Okay? Okay, but I will give you, if you see them taking her to the helo, that's a good sign to stabilize her, and they're gonna fly her out. Yes. Okay. Anything else? I'm gonna find you guys. Okay, you'll see the detectives are on our cars. They're gonna come in and crime scene back. Okay, and when they get here, I'll give you the lieutenant, and okay, and I'll have them over to you. Okay, yes, ma'am. She doing okay? She was inside the yes. What kind of car? Did you get a car right here? Or a watcher? Because as soon as the detective get here, so you get another car. That's my answer. I just wanted to know what I wanted to it's all down. Okay, another car. All right.
Do you remember what that conversation was about?
I believe that gentleman was asking if they could move Hannah from the back of my unit to a vehicle. She was not under arrest. I guess to make her more comfortable.
And what was your response to him?
I said, sure, as long as we could see the vehicle, I was going to post a deputy with it.
Is that the end of your video? This video anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Thank you, sir. Mr. Benavides, I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 61, and I believe there's no objection to its admission. We'll do 61 and 62, no objection to the admission to 61 and 62.
61 and 62 are admitted in the published.
Thank you. Sir, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 61. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Have you seen this photo before?
Yes.
What is this a photo of?
That is the driver's side of the inside of my unit, and it has two white boxes.
What are those boxes?
Those are the boxes that I secured from the gray car into my driver's seat.
Did you take this picture?
I did not.
Who would have taken this photo?
Our crime scene tech.
So would you have left the boxes there in your car until the crime scene tech arrived to take a picture?
That is correct.
Anything changed about these boxes?
No.
I just zoomed in. Can you tell us what you see there on the label?
Yes, it says 45 long Colt dummies.
Do you see something there in the middle?
It looks like it's initials.
Okay, and it's okay if you can't make them out, but you see what I'm.
Yes, right under the end.
Right there.
Yes.
Okay. That was State's Exhibit 61. Oh, it was zoomed in. Sorry. This is State's Exhibit 62. What we just looked at. Thank you, sir. I'll pass the witness. Sorry, I just unplugged it.
Cross-exam.
Evidence, sir.
Good afternoon.
Would you agree with me that the identification, preservation of evidence is important in a crime scene?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, Judge, if I could have Jordan's help. Just need to look into the HDMI. All right, and why is that important?
Where's your part? It's important because the scene is important also, and the preservation of evidence is needed.
Okay. And why are those things? How did you do those things in this case?
The best I can, the best I could, due to the evolving scene that was happening.
Okay. And I'm going to go back to your lapel video here.
You had testified, sir, that you had 3 deputies to work with?
In the beginning, Deputy LaFleur, myself, and Corporal Alderete.
All right, and additional deputies did arrive, right?
They did.
All right, do you remember when they got there?
It seemed like a long time. I would say within 30 minutes.
All right. How long have you worked at the Sheriff's Department before you retired?
20 years.
All right. In the cases that your former agency investigates, do they keep dispatch logs?
Yes, they do.
What is a dispatch log?
Just something that comes over the radio, and our dispatcher writes it, types it out. That they feel that's important.
All right, and the time that an officer is dispatched to a scene is always noted in that log, right?
I believe so.
And their arrival time is also noted, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any objection to the dispatch log?
Let me visit with you about it real quick.
Sure.
Just email me.
Defense Exhibit A. Sir, what are we looking at
Just a
here?
minute. Any objection to defendant's A?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may submit it, you may publish.
What are we looking at here, sir?
It looks like a crime dispatch log. Sorry.
Okay. And I've highlighted this entry here. It says Unit 32. It's got an employee ID. Description arrived at, that's 14 October. Would that be 2 p.m.?
That'd be 2 p.m. Yes.
All right. Is that Deputy LaFleur?
I believe so. If he was Unit 32, I believe he was Unit 32.
Okay. And I know it's been a while. You've retired, but do you remember what your unit was?
Unit 8.
Unit 8. All right. So you arrived at 2:20?
Yes.
All right. Now there are, on this dispatch log, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other units noted as arriving right around the same time as you. Are you sure you only had 3 deputies to work with at that time?
All we had was 3 deputies. I don't know where 6'3", 6'5". That was 14, 18. That was 18 minutes later. Then I couldn't tell you about the misprints, but I know when I got there.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. There was only 3 deputies, and you can see by my body worn camera that I had 3 deputies.
Okay. I don't want to take more of your time, being retired and all, and jury's time. We watched your whole video. You did see additional deputies come onto your lapel, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. After those deputies arrived, why couldn't you have separated those witnesses with the extra manpower that you had?
So I was still processing the whole scene at the time, and I was trying to direct them where I think they needed.
Okay. Would you agree that it's important to separate witnesses?
Yes, it is.
Why is that important?
Because you get witnesses telling stories, what they saw, and then they start getting mixed up when the witnesses start talking.
So it can affect the integrity of their observations.
That is correct.
Okay. And George, I just need to stop publishing for a minute. Counsel, I've got a couple exhibits I'd like to introduce. If you would mind coming up, I can show them you.
Yes.
All right, and that's this tape here?
Yes.
All right. Why do you guys use crime scene tape?
We use crime scene tape to secure a perimeter.
Why is that important?
The integrity of the scene.
All right, if the perimeter is not secure, why is that a problem?
People could go in and out. They could take evidence, bring evidence.
Okay. Who figured out where to put this crime scene tape?
I believe it was Corporal Alderete and Deputy LaFleur.
Did you give them instruction on how to do that?
I don't believe I did. I think we were just trying to secure as much as we could at the time, trying to have people go in and out of the scene.
Okay, and how did you determine, I guess, what the scene was?
We knew the scene was inside the church where the Joel and Halyna were.
Okay. And one of the things you want to do when you're establishing a crime scene, when you put up the tape, the perimeter, you want to make sure that all the important evidence is within that perimeter, right?
Yes, we tried to, yes.
Okay. Do you see that black tent in the background?
Yes, I do.
All right. Do you remember walking up to that black tent on your lapel video?
If I do, I don't remember, but I do remember seeing a black tent up there.
All right. Judge, I've discussed this with counsel. I'll admit 2 excerpts of the lieutenant's lapel as defendant's exhibits G and H.
No objection.
All right, defendants G and H are admitted, you may publish.
Actually, I got a little ahead of myself. All right. This is back to State Exhibit 1 here. All right. Do you think that's the same black tent we were looking at a moment ago in that photograph I showed you?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
All right. And to the left of that tent, there's a white truck. Did you see that in the previous photo as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you guys look in that truck?
No.
Okay. Why not?
I don't think we had a reason to.
Okay. And back to this photograph here. Would you agree with me that the white truck is outside of your crime scene tape perimeter?
Yes.
All right. And here is another photograph of Mr. Baldwin. Can you see on the left-hand side here? Is this the same white truck we were looking at before, or is this something else?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But do you have any doubt at all that the white truck was outside of the crime scene tape?
Yes.
You have doubt about it?
No, I mean, it was outside of the crime scene tape.
Okay. All right. And if evidence was in that truck, its integrity would be compromised, right?
I don't know if it would be.
Well, if access to it isn't cut off, you know, the things that you described earlier in cross-examination
Yes.
could happen. People could be putting things in there, people could be taking things out of there, right?
It could happen, yes.
Okay. And how long did it take you to get to this scene? Like, after you were dispatched, about how long did it take you to get there?
I believe 16 minutes.
Okay, and this is a fairly remote area, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you or any other sheriff's deputy be able to attest as to what's going on here at this movie set before you actually arrived?
No.
Right, and that's because you weren't there and you don't know.
That's correct.
All right. I'll direct your attention, sir, in this photo to these people standing over here. Is that where the witnesses had been corralled by Deputy LaFleur?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know I had instructed him to separate the witnesses, but I don't know where he separated them.
Okay. Do you know who else, if anyone, was keeping an eye on these witnesses?
I believe when deputies arrived, I had told Deputy Sanchez and Deputy Frederick Trujillo.
Okay. Now, we've been talking about the importance of evidence. How long have you been in law enforcement again?
20 years.
20 years. So you're very familiar with how to properly collect and preserve evidence?
Yes.
Please tell us how that should normally be done, collecting physical evidence.
Either have the evidence stay where it's at and make sure it's secured, or if on a scene like this, fluid, I grab the weapon and the rounds that were used and I secured them in my unit so they would be secured.
Okay. And you've testified in cases other than this one, right?
A couple.
Couple? 20 years, only a couple?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the concept of chain of custody?
Yes, I am.
Can you explain that to the jury, please?
So when I secured my secured the weapon and the rounds into my unit, I was the first chain of custody, which I was the securer of the evidence, and then it went to our evidence tech.
Okay. And you want to maintain that chain of custody and not have any breaks in it, right?
That is correct.
Can you explain to the jury what a break in chain of custody is?
So, for instance, there was a penny left here, and I took custody of it, and I left it here, and I walked out. Nobody was here securing the penny. And then I came back, so the penny wasn't secured.
And that can be a problem because pennies look like one another.
Yes.
You don't know it's the same penny.
Correct.
It could be, it could not, right?
Correct.
All right. In this case, you had a gentleman collect the prop card for you. Should you have done that yourself?
Of course I should have done that myself, but I kept an eye on him while he was getting it, while everything else was going on.
You agree with the prop card was by that black tent.
Yes.
In this photograph, right?
Yes.
About how far away was that from where you were standing right here?
A good 50 yards.
All right. Could you, if someone were to take something up off the card or place something onto the card from that distance, do you think you could actually see if something like that happened?
Yes, I think I could.
Okay. I noticed you're wearing glasses. How's your vision?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. And you would agree with me that you would actually need to be looking at the card to make sure nothing like that's happening, right?
Correct.
And why would you need to do that?
Just to make sure that he brings the card to me.
Because if you're not looking at the card, it's like the penny.
Yes.
Something could be, you don't know it's the same thing.
Yes.
Because you just did not personally observe it.
Correct.
All right. Judge, now I'll go to G. All right, so this is an excerpt from your lapel video, about 90 seconds. And at the start of this video, you're talking with this gentleman here, my client, about the gun. I'm just going to play this for you, and then ask you some questions, okay?
Good.
Rounds I gave you? They're on the corner. Are they? Who did you give them to? I can't. No, these are extra heavy. Yeah, that's not it. The one.
That's fine, it's not gonna be the first entrance, it's gonna be the second one, on the Heather Creek. Okay, boarding.
All right, we've gone 42 seconds. From the vantage point that you were looking at, could you have seen this cart?
Yes.
Do you see it on the video?
Well, the video's pointed, because the video's on my chest. So the video's pointed straight, but my head's looking at the cart.
Okay.
Oh my god, fuck. I'm so. Are they okay?
Hey, Santa Fe, we need more units out here.
I haven't been inside, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Okay, I already know the first one.
All right, so now your torso would be pointing, if the cart's over there,
It's
maybe
pointed east.
in that direction, about 180 degrees from the cart.
Yes.
Did you have visual contact of the cart at this point in time?
Yes.
Did
I was looking at Hannah and I was looking at the cart at the same time. Because she was moving around, so I was looking at her and I was looking at the cart.
looks like you turned around there.
Yes.
Were you looking at the cart before you turned around?
Yes. I was looking back and forth, back and forth. My video's pointed straight because it's on my chest.
So, this gentleman here, he essentially is the collector of this evidence, right?
Yes, he offers his services to go get the cart, yes.
All right. So he's the first link in the chain.
Yes.
And then you become the second link.
Yes.
And Judge will publish, we'll mark it as Exhibit H.
Yes, so she told me which ones were.
All right. That gentleman is now standing behind your crime scene tape.
Yes.
All right. Is that gentleman allowed within the crime scene tape?
No, not anymore.
What do you mean not anymore?
We secured the crime scene tape, so they're supposed to stay up.
Okay. And are they supposed to reach over it or breach it in any way?
They are not.
And why are they supposed to do that?
Because we're the collector of evidence and it could be tainted.
Okay.
Everything else is the same.
All right, what's he doing there?
He's reaching over the yellow tape and grabbing around to give us an example of what a dummy round looks like.
All right, why did you not tell him, hey, don't do that?
I don't know.
You agree with me that that was an investigative mistake on your part?
Yes, that was a mistake by me, yes.
Who is the deputy standing to the right of that gentleman?
That is Deputy Quintus.
All right, and he's one of the deputies that arrived at the scene after you did?
Yes.
All right. Did you ask him to start a crime scene log?
I asked him, yes.
All right, what's a crime scene log?
A crime scene log is people coming into the crime scene and we document who's there.
Is that something that's important to do?
Yes.
Why is that important to do?
So we know who was in the scene.
All right, why is that important?
So we could go back and the detectives could interview him and see what their involvement was on the scene.
And anyone who goes in or out is supposed to be in the log, right?
Correct.
Is that guy in the log?
I don't know, I haven't seen the log.
Okay. When did you ask Deputy Fuentes to start the crime scene log?
I believe I asked him when he first showed up, if I remember correctly.
All right, do you know what time he actually started then?
I do not know.
If you were to look at his report, could that refresh your recollection as to when he actually started the log?
It sure would.
Judge, if I could approach the witness?
Show Ms. Morrissey.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. Maybe about a half hour after you arrived?
Yes, approximately, yes.
Okay. Should that log have been started earlier?
It should have, but the scene being so active and 3 deputies on scene, it was difficult to start that log.
So I play this for you again.
I'm going to keep everything else the same. Like these here. Those are done. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody will.
Should Deputy Fuentes have said something to this guy about
Yes.
reaching over the tape?
Yes, as well as I.
And he didn't do that, right?
Correct.
All right. We saw later in your video this gentleman also standing next to Deputy Fuentes, and he was actually within the tape. Do you remember that?
I believe I do, yes.
Okay. Why was he allowed inside the crime scene tape?
That might be a question for Deputy Quintus. Should I have asked? Yes, I should have asked him why he was within the yellow tape.
You were in charge of this scene until investigations took it over, right?
That is correct, yes.
All right. So this guy was here for some time, monitored by this deputy. As the scene supervisor, are you concerned that if this gentleman reached over once over the tape and interacted with the cart, maybe he did it again?
In front of Deputy Quintus, I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about the gun. You said when you got the gun, you made it safe. What does that mean?
I looked in the cylinders to make sure there was no ammunition inside the cylinder.
All right. And the shooting had just occurred, right?
Yes.
So the ammunition that was within the gun would be?
It should have been still in there because it's a revolver.
Yes. And it would be highly relevant evidence in this case, right?
Correct.
All right. Now, on the video we listened to, you can hear my client Hannah talking to Mr. Dave Halls, the first assistant director, and talking about where that ammo is, right?
I don't know what ammo they're talking about.
What's your understanding as to where the ammunition inside of the .45 caliber gun you collected went?
I never asked that question. I do not know.
You have no idea where that ammunition is?
The one that was in the cylinder, no.
What about the other 5?
I do not know.
And what I know you said initially you only had three deputies, but I've seen a lot of that look like vehicles on your lapel video. Why couldn't you have sent these witnesses to go just wait in their cars and told them not to talk to anyone?
Well, the scene being so big, we tried to keep everybody corralled in one place where we could keep an eye on everybody. To send people back to their vehicles, I don't know where their vehicles were, because on a movie set there's staging areas, and I don't know if that staging area was somewhere else. I do not know.
just a minute. I've got just a couple more questions and I'll be wrapped up. All right, Lieutenant, I want to show you just a couple specific timestamps from your video. What are those over there? Can you see on the screen the two vehicles behind your vehicle?
Yes, I see two vehicles there.
All right, good witnesses have been placed there.
One vehicle, I don't know.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Can you rephrase your question, please?
Is there some reason you did not have witnesses staying in those cars?
Like I said, the fluid was big. I mean, the scene was big. We were trying to corral everybody into one place where we could watch them and tell them not to talk.
I mean, are you telling me you couldn't watch those people if they're in those vehicles?
I had Hannah back in my unit.
Okay.
All
right. Are there several vehicles looking straight ahead here?
Yes, there is.
Is there a reason you didn't ask to house the witnesses in those vehicles?
That's farther away from what we wanted, and we won't be able to control the scene.
Judge, if I could just have a moment before passing the witness.
Sure.
Let's just be clear. Do you have any reason to believe that that gentleman in the hat tampered with any kind of evidence?
No, I do not.
Any reason to believe that he planted any evidence?
No, I do not.
When he reached over the crime scene tape and touched that dummy round on the cart, were you there?
I was looking straight at him. Yes.
Did he plant any evidence?
No, he picked it up, shook it, and he put it back down.
Would you have noticed?
Yes.
If he planted evidence, you would have noticed?
Yes, I would have noticed. Yes.
I want to go through this slowly with you. Can you see, even on your video, what he is reaching into?
Yes, it's a little cubby hole, and there's quite a few rounds in there.
When he shook it, did it rattle?
I do not remember.
Now, these cars that Mr. Bullion asked you about, why you don't have witnesses in these cars, do you own those cars?
I do not own those cars, no.
Do you know who owns those cars?
I do not.
As a police officer, are you allowed just to take a witness and put them in some vehicle that you don't know who owns the car?
No, I'm not.
Have you ever done that in your entire career?
No.
Sir, just to be clear, you indicated to Mr. Bullion that your video is facing one way, but that doesn't necessarily show us what you're looking at. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do you have a full range of motion in your neck?
Yes, I do.
You don't have any injuries that would prevent you from doing that?
No, no.
Can you think of a reason that it took a while to get the crime log started?
Just how active the scene was, and it was. I was trying to get deputies assigned. You know, checking on everybody, checking on the victim. I do not know.
For the first half hour that you were on scene, did you have enough personnel so that someone could start doing paperwork?
No.
Is a crime scene log paperwork?
Yes, it is.
The gun that you put in your unit, who handed it to you?
Hannah.
How many rounds of ammunition were in the cylinder when she handed it to you?
None.
Thank you, sir.
Counsel, pressure. I'll be bearing this trial live stream on. Okay, have a seat, talk to the microphone, please.
Ma'am, would you state your full name and last name for the record, please?
Marissa Popple, P-O-P-P-E-L-L.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm a crime scene technician with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been a crime scene technician with the Sheriff's Office?
With them for almost 3 years now.
And were you a crime scene investigator anywhere else prior to coming to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I was with Fort Myers Police Department in Fort Myers, Florida for 4 years.
So total time as a crime scene investigator, what do you got?
Almost 7 years now.
How did you become involved in this case?
I was notified by my lieutenant in the Criminal Investigations Division that a shooting had occurred and we would be responding as the CID unit.
CID means?
Criminal Investigation Division.
Okay. And so if you recall, approximately what time would you have arrived on scene?
I believe it was later in the afternoon that day, probably around 2 or 3 p.m.
And what's your job as a crime scene investigator or crime scene technician? What do you do?
So I'm responsible for documenting any crime scenes, and this can be a variety of scenes, whether they be burglaries, homicides, shootings. I'm responsible for photographing any evidence, collecting that evidence, and packaging it as well.
And after you collect it and photograph it and package it, what do you do with it?
Depending on the circumstances of the evidence, I often am responsible for it getting sent off to the lab for further analysis if that's needed.
Did you send any of the evidence in this case off to a lab for further analysis?
Yes, several items were sent to the FBI to their crime scene lab.
Do you recall what items were sent?
If I can refer to my report, I can tell you what item numbers I have that were sent.
I think it's fine for you to refer to your report.
According to my report, items 1, 2, 3, 25, 26, 27, 140.
Hang on, I'm going to stop you. Because we don't speak crime scene technician, can you give us an idea of what those items were?
So these items were suspected live ammunition, DNA swabs that were collected from individuals, fingerprints that were collected from individuals, and additional ammunition that needed analyzed at that time.
Did you consider having fingerprints or DNA analysis done on the live rounds?
So I believe that fingerprint analysis was completed on the live rounds. However, the lab does not do DNA on any kind of ammunition, and that's a standard across most forensics labs.
Do you know why DNA isn't collected from basically what I'm going to describe as casings, brass casings?
It's just a very small likelihood of getting enough cells to have enough for a profile to be developed, which is why they won't do it.
Okay, thank you. So you couldn't actually have them take DNA off those live rounds?
Correct.
They wouldn't do it?
Yes.
Okay. They told you no?
Yes.
Did you collect all of the evidence from the scene at Bonanza Creek Ranch?
Yes, I did.
And did you get to collect evidence from other items or other locations on different dates?
Yes.
What other areas or places did you collect evidence?
I also assisted with the search warrant that was done on the prop truck at Bonanza Creek, and a search warrant that was conducted at PDQ warehouse in Albuquerque.
And do you recall when you conducted a search on the prop truck?
I believe that was the week after the incident, if I can refer to my report. The 27th of October.
And do you recall the date that you participated in the execution of the search warrant at PDQ Props?
November 30th.
And do you know who owns PDQ Props?
Seth Kinney.
All right. So let's start with some of the evidence that you gathered from the scene at Bonanza Creek. And I see that you brought a box with you. Can you go ahead and pull that box out and let's see what you've got? And yeah.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
And mark it as states exhibits. I'm publishing them. Okay, great. So let's start with the first one, and I will go ahead and mark it as states exhibit 74. I have on the Illinois States Exhibit 74. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what we're looking at?
So this is an ammunition box with a label that states 35 long Colt dummies.
35?
I'm sorry, 45, my apologies.
And did you collect this?
Yes, I did.
And where did you collect this item from?
This box was located in Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle.
And was it in this condition when you collected it?
It was not.
Tell us what condition it was in when you collected it.
It was fully intact with a foam insert and rounds inside it.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's go ahead and have a look at States Exhibit 75. What are we looking at here?
This is the foam insert that was inside that ammunition box.
And when it was inside the box, when you collected it, what did it have in it?
It had multiple ammunition rounds in it.
Okay. Let's have a look at States Exhibit 76. Tell us what States Exhibit 76 is.
This is a 4440 dummy round.
Do you know where it came from?
This was inside the foam insert in the ammunition box.
How do you know it's a dummy round?
When you shake it, you hear ball bearings inside of the round.
Can everybody hear that? Let's have a look at States Exhibit 77. What are we looking at here?
This is a 45 dummy round that has been deconstructed by the FBI.
And what's in the little plastic container?
So that is the ball bearing that was inside of this round.
Okay, so this is just an example of what that looks like when you take it apart.
Yes.
Tell us here. Let me get States Exhibit 78. What do we have here?
This is a 45 dummy round, but instead of having a ball bearing inside of it, it has a hole drilled through the side of it to distinguish it as a dummy round.
So when you shake this dummy round, does it rattle?
No.
And the dummy rounds that rattle, do they have holes in the side?
No.
So it either has a hole inside or it rattles?
Yes.
Okay. State's Exhibit 79. Tell us what we're looking at.
This is a 45 live round that was located inside of that same ammo box.
How do you know it's a live round?
Inside the plastic cylinder is all of the gunpowder that the FBI forensics lab took out when they deconstructed the round.
Can you see that?
Yes.
I know it's hard because of the glare. Maybe that's a little bit better. What is that silver thing on the top? Do you know what that's called?
That would be the primer.
And is it silver or nickel?
Yes, it's silver.
State's Exhibit 80. What is State's Exhibit 80?
This was the other box of ammunition that was located in Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle.
Did you personally inspect what was in that box?
Yes.
And what is that box full of?
Each of these rounds is a blank round, meaning instead of a projectile on the head, they have kind of a crimped end to them.
Okay, thank you. State's Exhibit 81. Oops. State's Exhibit 81. What are we looking at?
This is a 4440 dummy round that was taken out of a box marked 3840.
And what does 4440 mean if you know?
That would be the caliber of the round.
So is a 4440 different than a 45?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what we marked as State's Exhibit 82. What's that?
This is a 3840 taken out of that same box marked 3840.
This is a 3840.
Yes.
That was in the box marked 3840.
Yes.
And what else was in the box?
4440s.
And where were the 3840 dummy rounds found?
I believe they were in a bag in the prop truck.
Okay. And inside the bag, were they just loose?
They were in an ammo box in the bag.
Did you find 3840 dummy rounds in any other location?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Does it rattle?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 83. State's Exhibit 83, what are we looking at here?
This is a 45 dummy round taken from a box of ammunition located in the prop truck.
I'm going to show you what we've previously looked at, the State's Exhibit 78. And I don't know how well you can see because of the glare, but folks will be able to actually look at them. Is there a difference between 78 and 83 visibly? Can you tell them apart?
There is, can I see the bottoms of them as well?
Yeah, and let me ask you, let me back up for a moment. The box that 83 came out of, how many other rounds were in that box if you recall?
There were 17 rounds in total in that box.
And what color primers did all of those have?
Silver.
And was there any other distinguishing characteristics about those dummy rounds compared to the other ones? And I'm not talking about projectile.
They all had a patine to them, so almost a discoloration, so they were made to look old.
And when you say that, are you talking about the brass was actually a different color?
Yes.
Okay. And the dummy rounds that you found, that you collected, that had that patine to them, did they all have silver primers?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Did you find any other dummy rounds on set other than the ones that had the patine to them that had silver primers, dummy rounds?
I'm sorry, you're asking if there were any other dummy rounds that had a silver primer to them?
Other than the ones that had the patine?
No.
So only the patine-colored dummies had silver primers?
Yes.
Okay. How about State's Exhibit 84? All right, State's Exhibit 84. What is that?
So this is another 45 dummy round with a silver primer.
And is it patine?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what is State's Exhibit 83. It's a little hard to see through the plastic, but is there a difference between 83 and 84?
No, they are both patined.
Is there a difference in the projectile?
One projectile is slightly larger than the other right on the nose area.
And when you're looking at those, when they're not in the plastic, can you tell that pretty easily?
Yes.
And just for completeness, State's Exhibit 85, what are we looking at there?
This is another 45 dummy round taken from that same box that has been deconstructed by the FBI.
And we can see that there were BBs inside of it?
Yes.
All right, so prior to it being deconstructed,
It would rattle.
It would rattle. Okay, thanks. Do you have State's Exhibit 86? I'm showing you what we've marked as State's Exhibit 86. Can you tell us what that is?
This is a 45 dummy round. On the side of it, it has a hole drilled into it, and there is no primer on it.
Let me see if I can manipulate this so we can see what we're looking at. Is that the hole you're referring to?
Yes.
And you indicated that it does not have a primer?
Correct.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, where we would normally see a primer, instead it has a hole.
So how many different kinds of dummy rounds in terms of characteristics that would enable someone to distinguish them from a live round, how many different kinds did you find on set?
There were a few on set, and there's the ones that rattle, there are ones with holes drilled into the side, and there are ones with holes drilled into the side that do not have a primer.
Now, are you familiar with revolvers and the way that revolvers work?
Yes.
If a revolver is loaded with rounds, can you see the hole in the side?
No.
When you look at the revolver?
If you're looking at it from the angle of you've loaded the cylinder, no, you won't be able to see the side of the rounds.
What can you see?
You can see the primer area.
So, if a gun was loaded with number 86, would you be able to tell that it had dummy rounds in it without taking them out of the cylinder?
Yes.
What would a bullet do if it didn't have a primer, even if it had gunpowder inside?
There would be no reaction because there would be nothing for it, the hammer to hit, the barrel to hit.
It wouldn't fire, right?
Correct.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 87. What's that?
So this is a different type of dummy round that was located. It's a 45, but it's actually made as a replica round. You can see where there was a hole drilled in the side and then it was filled in.
And can you see the hole that was filled in right there?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Does it rattle?
No, it does not.
And it doesn't have a hole in the side because it's been filled in, right?
Correct.
What does the primer look like?
The primer is intact and is brass, but it does have a shine to it, almost like there was a resin polish put over it.
Is that the primer right there?
Yes, it is.
So if it doesn't rattle, and it doesn't have a hole in the side, and it isn't missing a primer, how do you know it's a dummy round?
So even when a live round is shaken, you can hear the powder inside of it move. So this round in particular makes absolutely no sound when you shake it.
Okay. What else do you have there? Let's look at 88, State's Exhibit 88. Ma'am, when you were participating in the execution of the search warrant on the prop truck, did you locate a lever action rifle?
Yes, I did.
Was law enforcement able to easily clear it, meaning make it safe?
No.
Why not?
We were not able to unload it on scene because the firearm appeared to be jammed somehow. So it was taken back to our office for our firearms certified individuals to handle.
And do you know what kind of ammunition that lever action rifle is supposed to take?
Yes, it's supposed to take 44 40s.
And the ammunition that was taken out of that lever action rifle, did you collect it?
Yes.
And do we have it here as 88 and 89?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what we've marked as State's Exhibit 89. What are those?
So these are the 3 44 40 rounds that were inside of the rifle.
And are they dummy rounds?
Yes.
And do you see any distinguishing characteristics that you can see from the outside to let you know that it's a 44-40 and not 45?
So the 44 40s have almost an elongation to their casing area. So you can see where they slightly tighten up in one area and then continue upwards. So yes, right where you're pointing.
And did you say that you found a 45 in there or not yet?
I don't remember.
Okay. What is State's Exhibit 88?
It is a 45 dummy round that was located inside that same rifle.
Do you notice anything different about this dummy round than the other ones?
There is some damage done to the projectile head of this round where it was forcefully removed from the rifle.
Does a 45 caliber dummy, does it fit in that lever action rifle?
It does not fit in a 44 40 rifle.
All right. What else do we have? Is that the last item?
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to take it out of the bag, but for right now, what is State's Exhibit 90?
So this is a shoulder holster that was located inside of the building.
Do you know which actor used this prop?
Yes, this belonged to Alec Baldwin.
You collected this from the scene?
Yes.
You took a whole lot of photos, right?
Yes.
We're going to switch over to pictures from Elmo. And we're gonna- Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. I'm showing you what has been admitted as State's Exhibit 3. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
This is the prop truck that was located outside of the main building of the scene.
You said prop truck.
Oh, I apologize. Prop cart.
Okay. And is this the condition it was in when you took your photo?
Yes.
Did you inspect this cart and remove items from it?
Yes, I did.
Would you describe the level of organization associated with this cart?
There were multiple rounds of multiple caliber all over the top portion of this cart and additional boxes of rounds on the bottom part of this cart.
And were there also just other items?
Yes, there were plastic guns, gun belts, earplugs, miscellaneous paperwork.
Oops. Let's do it this way, it'll be easier. Is that just another photograph of that same prop cart?
Yes, just at a different angle.
And what are we looking at there?
Here we can see the spent cartridge casing that was located on top of the cart, as well as additional ammunition that was located there.
Okay. And that spent casing that we're looking at, you collected it from the cart?
Yes.
And did you send it to the FBI?
Yes.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 5. What is this?
This is a close-up of the bottom portion of the cart.
State's Exhibit 6.
A different angle of the top of the cart.
I'm going to zoom in. Can you see that right there?
Yes.
What is that on the lower right-hand corner?
It is an ammunition round.
Not in any particular box?
Not in any box, no.
State's Exhibit 7. What's that?
This is, again, the top of the cart and one of the firearms that was located on top of the cart. I believe this was the one with a blocked cylinder, so it was not a functional firearm.
So this was not the gun that was used in this incident?
No.
And State's Exhibit 8. Is that just a close-up?
Yes.
And what is this? This is State's Exhibit 9. What are we looking at?
This is the firearm that was used in this incident after it had been collected and put into an evidence box.
And this is the firearm that was sent to the FBI?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 10. What's this?
This was the rifle that we were required to bring back to the office to safely unload.
This is the one that was jammed?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 11.
These were the rounds that were removed from the rifle. Again, there are 3 44-40s and 1 45.
Do you know why this round here seems to have a shorter projectile than the others?
The 44-40s all had more square tops, and I would assume...
Sure. Yeah, no worries. I'll withdraw that. Let's go to State's Exhibit 12.
this is a close-up of the 45 round that was removed from the rifle.
Is that the damage that you were talking about?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 13. What's this?
This is a close-up of the bottom of that same round.
Thank you. And State's Exhibit 14.
This is a close-up of the bottom of the 44-40 rounds.
And can you see here on the head stamp, does it say?
It says 44-40.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 15. What's this?
This was all of the ammunition that was loose and not in boxes that was located on top of the cart.
And the rounds on top, what are those?
Those are all blank rounds, and they can be distinguished by that crimped end instead of having a projectile.
And these rounds over here on the left, if you recall, were those dummies or not?
If I can refer to my report?
Sure.
So I believe these 2 rounds were dummy 45 rounds that rattled when shaken.
And what about these 2 rounds over here on the right-hand side?
These 2 rounds were later, I apologize, these 2 rounds were sent to the FBI because they were suspected live rounds, which the FBI confirmed.
So these 2 rounds here, this picture was taken before they were sent to the FBI?
Correct.
And these turned out to be live rounds?
Yes.
Meaning real bullets?
Yes.
And what's this one down here?
This is a dummy 45 round with a hole drilled in the side.
And these were just loose on the prop part?
Yes.
And I'm going to skip through some of the close-ups. That was State's Exhibit 16, 17, State's Exhibit 18. Is this a close-up of something?
This is a close-up of the 2 live rounds.
And what is this a picture of?
The bottoms of those same rounds with silver primer.
State's Exhibit 20.
These are the other 2 dummy rounds that were located on the truck, on the cart.
Do you see a difference? Well, have a look at the projectile of these rounds. And then, this is 20. I'm going to go back to 18. Do you see a difference?
On the live rounds, they appear to have a larger nose, so a wider nose area.
Did you measure those?
Yes.
And what's the diameter of that nose, that flat surface?
6 millimeters.
What's the diameter of the projectile, the tip of the projectile on State's Exhibit 20?
4 millimeters.
Just more close-ups. I'm just going through here. State's Exhibit 23. you recall what that was?
I do
It
not.
was 24, that's okay. And State's Exhibit 25, what's this?
This was the spent round located on top of the cart.
And what is State's Exhibit 26?
The bottom of that round, where you can see the silver primer.
Why was this empty casing sent to the FBI?
To determine if it had been fired from the firearm that we had in custody.
Okay, and we'll have other folks speak to that. State's Exhibit 27, can you tell me what we're looking at here?
This is a close-up of one of the gun belts.
Where was this gun belt collected from?
I believe this gun belt was on top of the cart.
The prop cart?
Yes.
Were any of these rounds sent to the FBI?
Yes.
Which one?
The one with the silver primer.
Did that turn out to be a live round?
Yes.
Do you recall what actor used that gun belt?
I believe this belt was assigned to Jensen Ackles.
And let's look at State's Exhibit 27A. What is this a photo of?
This was ammunition that was located from the top of the cart.
Is it the same ammunition that came from that belt?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you have it separated out like this?
So this ammunition was separated out based on its physical description. So we have ammunition at the top, that's 45s with brass primers. We have one round by itself, which was 45 with a silver primer, and one round by itself, which was 45 with a hole drilled through the side.
So all of these turned out to be dummies except this one here on the left.
Correct.
State's Exhibit 28, what's this?
This was a fanny pack that was located on top of that same cart.
State's Exhibit 29, what is this a picture of?
This is a close-up of the inside of that bag.
And what are those things we're looking at?
I believe all of these rounds that we're looking at now were blank rounds that were found in the bag.
Okay. And did this bag have more than one pocket?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 30, what are we looking at here?
This is another pocket in this pack containing blank rounds.
And State's Exhibit 31.
Another pocket in the same bag with blank rounds inside.
And State's Exhibit 32.
This is inside that bag with a dummy round 45 with a hole drilled through the side of it.
Let me ask you, how many dummy rounds altogether did you collect from that crime scene?
I believe, as far as dummy rounds go, I believe I have 255.
And does that include the prop part?
Yes.
Of those 255, approximately how many were not located in a box and not located on a gun belt?
I would say probably around 50.
So those 50 rounds, were they just loose in different places?
Yes.
Where were some of the places that you found loose rounds?
They were found loose in the bottom of boxes, loose inside of the prop truck, just on the floor. Pretty much any boxes that were located, if there were ammo boxes inside of it, there were loose rounds also underneath the ammo boxes.
All right. State's Exhibit 33. I think these are close-ups, we can go through them quickly. 33 and 34, can you see what that is?
Yes, this is a close-up of that dummy round that has a hole drilled through the side.
Okay. State's Exhibit 35.
This is the bottom of that dummy round where the primer has been removed.
So this is a dummy round that was taken out of that fanny pack?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 36. What is this a photo of?
This is a close-up of one of the gun belts.
Let's talk about this one for a moment. What actor was using this holster as a prop?
This holster was assigned to Alec Baldwin.
And are we looking in this picture at all of the rounds that were located in that gun belt?
Yes.
I see that on the left we have 2 rounds with silver primers. I'm going to ask you about the first one. This first round that my pointer is on, was that a dummy round?
Yes.
Why is this a different color than the other rounds?
This round had that patine wear look to it that we had previously seen.
So the dummy rounds with the patine looked like this from the top.
Yes.
This round right here, next to it, was that a dummy round?
No.
What did that turn out to be?
That turned out to be a live round.
And these 3 here, these 3 rounds to the right, what did those turn out to be?
2 of those were 44-40 rounds, and one of them was a 45 dummy round with ball bearings inside.
Were they all dummy rounds?
All 3 of these, yes.
Okay. The only live round that was found in Mr. Baldwin's holster is this one right here?
Yes.
And you sent that to the FBI?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 37, what is this?
This is a different view of that same holster.
Is this the live round right here?
Yes.
I want you to look at this projectile. Is this projectile different than this one to the right?
Yes.
And is it different than the one next to that one?
Yes.
And is it different than this one?
Yes.
How is it different than this one?
The one that your pointer is on right now has a more elongated nose to it, which makes it a smaller nose width.
And what's the measurement of that nose width?
4 millimeters.
And this round over here on the far left, can you see a difference between this projectile and this projectile?
Yes.
And what's that?
The projectile on the far left has almost a crimping around the base of it.
I want to ask you about all of the suspected live rounds that you found on set and sent to the FBI. Did they all look like this one?
Yes.
Did they all have silver primers?
Yes.
Did they all have the same head stamp?
Yes.
What is that head stamp?
It states 45 Colt and has a Starling Brass logo.
And did they all have the same shape projectile?
Yes.
Did they all have the same color brass?
Yes.
Meaning they were not patine?
Correct.
Okay. State's Exhibit 38, what are we looking at here?
These are those same rounds from the holster, removed from the holster.
So we just get a better view of the casing?
Correct.
All right. State's Exhibit 39.
This was a gun belt that was located inside of the prop truck.
And what kind of rounds were in this belt?
If I can refer to my report.
Sure.
In this belt were 22 45 Colt rounds with ball bearings inside and one Spain Denix replica round.
And do we have the Spain Denix replica round here in evidence?
Yes.
And all of the rounds in this gun belt, did they all have the patine color?
Yes.
And were any of them found to be live?
No.
State's Exhibit 40.
These are those same rounds removed from the gun belt.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 41.
This is a close-up of the silver primer on the rounds.
What's State's Exhibit 42?
This was a box of ammunition collected from the prop truck.
Is this the condition it was in when you collected it?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 43. What's this?
This is a close-up of a different box located in the prop truck.
And what's in all those white boxes?
Different types of ammunition.
And what's this here?
I believe it was a Red Bull.
Or what's State's Exhibit 44?
This was a Mary Kay bag that was located in the prop truck.
And what's in these white boxes?
Various types of ammunition.
And we can see some brass things down here in this little pocket. Do you know what those were?
I believe those were spent blanks.
And we'll go through these quickly. State's Exhibit 44A.
This was a close-up of the ammunition in that bag.
What do we see over here?
Where your arrow cursor is?
Yeah.
I believe this is spent blank rounds.
And were they just loose in the bag?
Yes.
We're going to break for the day, okay? So follow George, take your tablets. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Do not read any stories about the trial or any subject matter related to this case. And don't do any research. Have a good evening. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so there we have it, guys. So that concludes day one of Hannah Gutierrez's trial. So, in my opinion, the most damning piece of the trial so far was the video. I believe it was Officer Benavidez's body cam video, and it had her on there saying, "Oh fuck, oh my god," and that to me was not good. She was freaking out. She was acknowledging that she knew that it was her fault. She even said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is she dead?" And to me, that was damning because that's demonstrating, would demonstrate to the jury that she knew things weren't being done correctly. She was taking responsibility. We don't know what she was referring to when she said sorry, but we know that obviously from the sounds of things, it sounds like that set was just not secure at all. And I guess that's the point the state's making. 250 rounds of bullets found all over the place. 50 of those rounds, so 20% of those rounds were just found scattered, not in a box, not in a belt. And she's responsible for this stuff. Now, there is another person that they put in the defense's opening that they claim operates in between her and the movie set, who's kind of her superior. So it sounds like there's going to be an attempt to to kind of separate her from the causation. In other words, remove her from being directly responsible, saying, "Hey, well, there was somebody else here who was aware, who was responsible for these things," and she was also part responsible for props, which again, it kind of creates an interesting argument here because again, when you dig into the law here, the fact that that others created a negligent situation by having her, even knowing that this was not supposed to be the way it was supposed to be laid out. Would you say that was a transference? Did that break the causal link from her being attached to what happened? Now, of course, there's the issue of her handing the gun off, and she allegedly didn't follow the protocols. We haven't got to that point of the testimony, but that was part of the reason why they were going over and having the crime scene tech go over how to identify what bullets were dummies, what bullets were live rounds, and how you could tell. In other words, if she's doing this check, she should have been able to tell by knowing if you shake a bullet, and that's why you're supposed to pull each one out and shake it and put it in to make sure there's no gunpowder in the bullet. And and that was explained in the opening statement. So there's several ways they can get it in here, because remember, when it comes to manslaughter, the interesting thing about involuntary manslaughter is you can have multiple people charged with it, because it doesn't mean you have to be the only cause. It just means that something you did was a contributing factor, negligence on your part, failure to secure the weapon, failure to do a proper check, failure to meet some responsibility that led to this happening. But there's got to be a direct link. In other words, there can't be an interruption. If somebody comes in and interrupts and then some external event happens that you have no control over, it breaks the link. That's what her defense is doing here. Of course, the other thing that the defense is doing a pretty good job of is demonstrating that the police did not secure this scene. So, a common theme that's going to run through this, and the purpose of those questions, if you're wondering, why are they going over who's accessing the scene? Because this isn't really one of those situations where you're determining who did it, but you are determining through that investigation. You have to rely on the evidence that emanated from that investigation. This was an issue in the Tyrone Tucker case when the judge said trials aren't about the investigation, it's about the evidence emanating. Well, it is about the quality of the investigation. It absolutely is. That's where he made what has been one of multiple ridiculous arguments he made, which Judge Jones had made throughout that case. But obviously, this is an example. They're challenging the investigation and the quality of the investigation, whether or not that investigation can be trusted. Because if they can raise doubt as to the how that investigation was conducted, then everything that comes out of that later on is doubted. And if you can't trust the investigation because they didn't have enough officers on the scene, they didn't secure the evidence, then everything they're going to tell you about that investigation, everything they're going to tell you about the bullets, everything they're going to tell you about, what was the condition of those bullets? They were spread out all over the scene. The defense's position is going to be, listen, there was chaos after all of this happens. For all we know, Alec Baldwin could have been on the phone saying, get somebody down here and just start throwing things around and cause as much chaos as possible so that you can't trust this. And the defense is saying, since you didn't secure the scene, we don't have a chain of custody here. We don't have an ability to say who touched what when. We don't have eyes on it. We have people walking through the scene. We have people reaching over crime scene tape. We have crime scene tape being broken. We have people essentially running all over this ranch when the police should have been moving everybody to one area where they could all be observed, even if it was just one deputy. Eventually take everybody, getting everyone away from the crime scene and then allowing the crime scene techs to eventually come on. But the police didn't do that. And that's what the defense is essentially doing a good job of making those points. But at the end of the day, sometimes it comes down to just something like that video where she's, confirming that in her own mind at that moment, when she's out there, she's apologizing. What's she apologizing for? I mean, she had to know there was something. There was something that she apologized to. Yeah, definitely. A live bullet was fired. It seemed like a pretty open set. Absolutely. Yeah, it was a pretty open set. And, it definitely seemed like it was a pretty, chaotic scene. It seemed like it was not a set where there was a lot of protocols being followed on that set. And it seemed like she was not taking things serious. Now, we haven't got to the witnesses that are come on to stand here allegedly that have been previewed in the past, who are supposedly going to say that she was doing drugs each evening. And I think that was the significance of the Red Bull, that she was smoking pot, drinking alcohol. and then you've got the cocaine allegation, essentially not taking this thing serious. And then you've got, of course, again, I don't think Nicolas Cage is going to testify in this, but there's the article that I think a lot of people should have seen already that said Nicolas Cage had actually was so upset with how she handled things and did her job that he asked for her to be taken off the set that he was working on. So things like that are not good for her. We'll see how deep it goes. We'll see what the people say. We'll see what the evidence is that gets put in front of this jury. Just makes you wonder with only with only 18 months on the table here, why they weren't able to work out some sort of plea bargain. I don't know why you would have live bullets there. It was a Western movie and the gun should have been done. Well, that's the thing. And apparently, according to the opening statements, I think it was a situation where, they would, some of these armorers would actually try to do trainings. And there's apparently a well-respected armorer that trained her that the defense alluded to in their opening, who said that it was quite common when you had a Western set or you had a gun set that they would go off and utilize live rounds to get used to how the gun kicks and, do some safety things and stuff like that. Well, I don't know that they're going to do any time at all. That's the funny part on this, because it's actually the maximum that you can do on this charge that she's charged with is only 18 months. And customarily, unless there's a mandatory minimum in New Mexico for a firearm being involved, and I don't know that there is in this instance, with her having no prior record, it's a possibility that she could get probation. It's probationable. It is, based on what I read and researched, it is a probationable offense because it's a 4th degree felony. So, but it is a felony. It would affect her ability to be an armorer. I think possibly why she doesn't want to plead to this. It would affect her ability to ever be an armorer again on a set. She would lose her career. Now, Alec Baldwin won't lose his career, but it might affect his ability to be on certain types of movies. And of course, financially, it could have a huge, huge impact because of the civil suit. So, yeah, absolutely. Yep. It will be something. The civil suit will be rough. Well, see, that's the thing. What they're really doing here, in my opinion, and what often happens is if they get the conviction here criminally, even if he doesn't go to jail, once he's convicted criminally, because the proof is higher than civil, then it eliminates the need to have a civil trial as far as determining whether or not he's liable. Liability is then established. The only thing that would be up for debate at that point would be the amount of money that Alec Baldwin would have to pay and anybody else involved. Well, I guess it would just be Alec Baldwin and her, but specifically, obviously, this could bankrupt Alec Baldwin. Because it would you could see a jury in this instance, especially when it appears that Alec Baldwin was doing stupid stuff with the weapon, in terms of how he was handling it, and he was intentionally firing it, knowing that was against protocol. He failed to do his trainings. He was doing the cross-body draw, which is one of the most dangerous draws in Hollywood and in movies. So he was doing a lot of things that were, when his trial comes up, he was doing a lot of things that a civil jury, when they're considering all those facts, if he ends up convicted in this case, could end up level on him. I mean, millions. And I think that's ultimately what's really at stake here in the end is, that's the goal. Because I don't think, like I said, 18 months I don't think they're not going to do more than 10 months. It's going to be jail time. It's not going to be prison time, because with good behavior, most states kill sentences at 2/3, so it'll be a year. And most of the time, if you're looking at a year or less, you're going to do county jail time. That's not necessarily the best time, but it would be served in a jail. But the reality is, I think the judge in this case would probably sentence them to some sort of situation where it might be, 18 months with 12 months suspended, or 15 months suspended and 90 days in the county jail. And then there's going to be probation. And like I said, from a liability perspective, it won't be an issue that can be contested, and Alec Baldwin will pay out the rear end on that. Now, as far as Ms. Gutierrez, I don't know that she's got any money to offer to the table, or where she's got anything of interest from a financial perspective. But like I said, it will affect her, in a big way, of being able to do movies and things in the future. The Colt 1873 model they named was used as far back in the 1970s. It might be easy to prove it malfunctioned because of age and wear. Well, see, that's that would be a defense for an intentional thing. The malfunction, the issue at hand would be with her, in her specific case, is about the fact that there was a live round in it. So by her not having taken the steps to make sure a live round couldn't have been around or gotten into that gun, even if it malfunctioned, that would still be considered, or she would still be, there's still a scenario that if they can prove that she contributed to the live round getting into that gun by her own negligence, then that would allow for her to still be convicted of involuntary manslaughter, even if it was a malfunction. Because the idea here is it malfunctions, but if there's not a live round in it, nobody dies. But because of her, not securing the firearms, and not securing, or not firearms, the bullets, and not keeping them separated, and not doing her proper checks and all that good stuff, that's her own negligence. And it can be assumed that if you put a live round in a firearm and someone's messing around with it and it goes off, someone could die. That's the definition of involuntary manslaughter. In the event that you're responsible for making sure that there was no live round in that gun, and she was. But her defense can be that she took all those steps and somebody else got a hold of the weapon in between when it made it to Alec Baldwin's hands, and when she, and when it went off. If somehow, there's a way she could have missed. I think part of what the defense is getting into is there were 5 rounds, potentially 5 dummy rounds in there, and there was 1 empty spot. So the question is, did somebody realize this and just throw it in without her knowing? But one of the other issues is if she wasn't securing the rounds, and she wasn't securing the guns, and she wasn't taking this serious, there you have it. I mean, it's a really simple case. And then on top of that, you've got video of her out there saying, "I'm so sorry. Oh, I can't believe I did this," or "I can't believe this happened. Oh my God, is she dead? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I think she's going to get convicted. I mean, and we have to continue giving her the presumption of innocence, because there could be doubt here. I mean, there could be reasonable doubt, and we've got to let this case play out. But to me, that consciousness of, the thing that makes manslaughter cases so hard is getting into the mind of the individual. But when somebody leaves behind a videotape and they're walking out and they're apologizing and they're saying, "Oh my God," and they're acknowledging that it was their fault in some way already, it tells you. And then you go and you find a set that's not compliant at all with standards, and you've got her, the one that's responsible for that compliance, out here saying, "Oh fuck, I'm so sorry, I can't believe it, I hope she didn't die." I mean, I understand why they're prosecuting. I don't think this isn't going to be a hard case if the jury was paying attention. I didn't hear the follow-up questions on that. I didn't hear the prosecutor making a big deal about it. But a lot of times, like you might, a lot of times it's just getting it in as evidence, and then they can use it in their closing argument and argue it later. So sometimes they don't want to bring attention to it because they don't want the defense coming in and asking additional questions and trying to clean that up. I have a feeling that they're going to be having her testify, and I have a feeling that when she testifies, that's where this thing's going to get interesting, because I believe that when she testifies, she's going to be testifying something along the lines of, you know, uh, well, she's going to have a story. Let's put it that way. Now, maybe she won't testify, but I feel like she almost is going to have to testify. And I got a feeling that the testimony, that the core of her defense is going to be that, yes, traditionally she's an armorer and her realm of responsibility would have been all these things. However, I think the core tenet of her defense is going to be the fact that she was a prop and an armorer. And as a result, she's going to say, well, I was responsible for like trainings and I was responsible for doing certain checks, which I did. But as far as securing the guns and organizing the bullets, that was the responsibility of her supervisor. And that the individual the defense talked about, I can't remember her name. And I think that's going to be where she's going to try to separate herself from this and say, all right, that's, as a result, I wasn't actually, responsible for these things. They were. And as a result, again, remember, in this situation, if there's doubt as to that, if there's doubt as to whether she was responsible, if the defense calls that person up and questions them, and that person says, well, yeah, I was sharing that responsibility, or yes, I was assisting with that, that could fall favorably with the jury. Well, I think there is going to be evidence presented that they were shooting the guns. I believe I read that. Again. Obviously, I'm talking about things not in evidence, and we have to talk about what's in the court record. But I believe that will eventually come out when they get these people here to testify about what was going on the set. But I am pretty certain I read that. I remember watching some questioning from videos and stuff that was going on, that they were saying that, yeah, they had been shooting, like they had been out shooting live rounds and stuff like that. Which, again, the problem with all of this is it's the idea of who was responsible. In other words, like, was she responsible for it? Was it her job to come in and say nobody should be shooting live rounds? Did she clear that? Was she aware of that? Because all of those things make a difference. They all make a difference in terms of whether or not her actions led to this outcome. Because if she's following all her protocols and behind her back, people with access to these guns are able to go in and snatch these guns up and start shooting, and they're using live rounds, and she's doing everything she's supposed to be doing, then that does not rise to her being, to being able to be guilty here by saying it was her negligence, because she did everything she was supposed to do. So Then we're talking about the negligence of others. Then we're talking about how other people were acting. And again, those are all defenses to this. If she can show that somebody else's actions intervened and caused a break in the link between her and what happened, which obviously Alec Baldwin was the individual with the gun. So with him, you have a whole other set of stuff that is going to come up. And one of them being is, regardless of whether he thought it was a loaded gun or not, if you're pointing a gun in any direction, towards anyone, and you're pulling the trigger and you're firing it towards human beings, that's negligent behavior. He's going to be found guilty. If he was obviously he's going to say, well, there wasn't supposed to be a hot round in there. There wasn't, I didn't believe there were supposed to be any rounds in there. And, that's one aspect. But there's also another aspect that if you have a firearm and you're pointing it in a direction, or you're pulling the trigger in the direction of other human beings, you know that lots of things can happen in that instance. And one of those is it can discharge. If there happens to be a live round, heck, I think it was Brandon Lee that got shot with a dummy bullet, if I'm not mistaken, and he died on the set of The Crow. So a lot of different ways. That's why, like I said, manslaughter. Said this in the AM video. Manslaughter cases are the most interesting because there's so many ways you can get to a potential conviction. Depending on what the proof is and what they can have. And then there's also so many defenses too, because the thing is, it's a matter of what did you know, what were you aware of, what steps did you take, and did somebody else come in? Was there something out of your control, your sphere of control, that intervened? And if that happens, then you're not guilty. So in this case, like I said, we'll see what the defense comes up with. But I'll tell you, I don't like what I am not feeling good about the defense's chances because of that body-worn camera. Now, if somehow the state doesn't believe that's relevant and they don't ever argue it and they let that moment pass and they don't do anything with that, but I can't imagine that they won't. To me, that is that like everything else that runs out of that. That's going to be the moment that's going to force her on the witness stand to answer the question: what were you apologizing for? Because otherwise, if she doesn't testify in this case, and that's what stands in front of the jury, and they go up and say, somebody comes on and says, yeah, she was responsible for all these different things. And then they go talk about how there were, 50 bullets, 50 dummy bullets all over and unsecured all over the set. There were protocols weren't being followed. Guns weren't secured. She was drinking and smoking and partying and not taking this serious. And and then you see her reaction to this. It's like she knew. It's like, oh my God, I realized I was warned. It's almost as if what I saw in that video was like she'd been warned. Maybe she'd been told. Maybe people, obviously, what's his name? Nicolas Cage had said, I want her off the set. So to me, I think it almost felt like it was like all those moments. It was like a little kid who's been told over and over again, if you do X, this is eventually you're going to break it. And now it broke. And now it's like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. Like I should have listened. And that's what it really felt like when you're watching that. And I'm sure the jury felt that too. And then as they tell this whole story, this whole mess of a story, it makes it easy. Now, the destruction of evidence, I'm not, obviously we're here what that has to say, but that just sounds just absolutely loony. I mean, she allegedly gives someone a bag of cocaine and then the person just says, here it is. I mean, but the idea that she's being charged with destruction of evidence and it's related to the cocaine, and then she's texting the person wanting it back. Well, doesn't sound like she was trying to dispose of it. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. And you got to prove. I would think there would have to be a requirement in that case that to prove it more than just this person thinking, "Oh, this is a bag of cocaine." I mean, that's just bizarre. I don't even know why they charged her with all of that, but I mean, I guess maybe that's there in the eyes of the state to say, well, if they think our manslaughter case is really, really weak, they're convict her of that, and then that way she walks away convicted of something. I have no idea. I mean, it's just, I guess we'll hear more as the case progresses, but yeah, so far, first day, I'm a little concerned for her, but like I said, we've got a whole trial. You can't jump to conclusions. It's one piece, and there's a lot to come in, and there's a lot to be addressed by the defense. And by the end of this, perhaps there be more doubt than there will be certainty as to what happened in this case. But for right now, I feel like unless she testifies, that video has pretty much locked in where the direction that this case is going. But that's just my thoughts. So, anyways, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the case will be back on tomorrow. I believe at 9 o'clock. I think that's. I do believe New Mexico might be on Central Time. I have to check on that. So it might be 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central. And I guess that would be 7 a.m. Western Time. So not too far away. So I'm going to end this stream. I appreciate everybody who watched tonight. Secret Squirrel, thank you for your comments. Thanks for interacting. I appreciate it. And I'm going to try to get some rest here, and then be back at it watching day 2 tomorrow. I'll probably start a little bit later, and then we'll play a little catch up for the AM session, and then hopefully PM we'll be running live. So that's where we'll go. So with that said, guys, I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate everybody who's going to watch this in the I guess post stream, and go from there. All right, guys. Until we talk again, let justice prevail, and I'll talk to you soon.